Sermon number 221. Engage your vying in exuberance, until ye come to the graves. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. How distant, from achievement, is their aim, how neglectful are these visitors, and how difficult is the affair. They have not taken lessons from things which are full of lessons, but they took them from far-off places. Do they boast on the dead bodies of their forefathers, or do they regard the number of dead persons as a ground for feeling boastful of their number? They want to revive the bodies that have become spiritless and the movements that have ceased. They are more entitled to be a source of lesson than a source of pride. They are more suitable for being a source of humility than of honor. They looked at them with weak-sighted eyes and descended into the hollow of ignorance. If they had asked about them from the dilapidated houses and empty courtyards, they would have said that they went into the earth in a state of misguidance, and you too are heading ignorantly towards them. You trample their skulls. Want to raise constructions on their corpses. You graze what they have left and live in houses which they have vacated. The days that lie between them and you are also bemoaning you and reciting elegies over you. They are your forerunners in reaching the goal and have arrived at the watering places before you. They had positions of honor and plenty of pride. They were rulers and holders of positions. Now they have gone into the interstice, where earth covers them from above and is eating their flesh and drinking their blood. They lie in the hollows of their graves lifeless, no more growing, and hidden, not to be found. The approach of dangers does not frighten them, and the adversity of circumstances does not grieve them. They do not mind earthquakes, nor do they pay heed to thunders. They are gone and not expected back. They are existent but unseen. They were united but are now dispersed. They were friendly and are now separated. Their accounts are unknown and their houses are silent, not because of length of time or distance of place, but because they have been made to drink the cup of death, which has changed their speech into dumbness, their hearing into deafness and their movements into stillness. It seems as though they are fallen in slumber. They are neighbors not feeling affection for each other, or friends who do not meet each other. The bonds of their knowing each other have been worn out, and the connections of their friendship have been cut asunder. Every one of them is therefore alone, although they are a group, and they are strangers, even though friends. They are unaware of morning after a night and of evening after a day. The night or the day when they departed has become ever existent for them. They found the dangers of their place of stay more serious than they had apprehended, and they witnessed that its signs were greater than they had guessed. The two objectives, namely paradise and hell, have been stretched for them up to a point beyond the reach of fear or hope. Had they been able to speak, they would have become dumb to describe what they witnessed or saw. Even though their traces have been wiped out and their news has stopped circulating, eyes are capable of drawing a lesson. As they looked at them, ears of intelligence heard them, and they spoke without uttering words. So, they said that handsome faces have been destroyed and delicate bodies have been smeared with earth. We have put on a worn-out shroud. The narrowness of the grave has overwhelmed us and strangeness has spread among us. Our silent abodes have been ruined. The beauty of our bodies has disappeared. Our known features have become hateful. Our stay in the places of strangeness has become long. We do not get relief from pain, nor widening from narrowness. Now, if you portray them in your mind, or if the curtains concealing them are removed from them for you, in this state when their ears have lost their power and turned deaf, their eyes have been filled with dust and sunk down. Their tongues which were very active have been cut into pieces, their hearts which were ever wakeful have become motionless in their chests. In every limb of theirs a peculiar decay has occurred which has deformed it. and has paved the way for calamity towards it, all these lie powerless, with no hand to help them and no heart to grieve over them, then, you would certainly notice the grief of their hearts and the dirt of their eyes. Every trouble of theirs is such that its position does not change and the distress does not clear away. How many a prestigious body and amazing beauty the earth has swallowed, although when in the world he enjoyed abundant pleasures and was nurtured in honor. He clung to enjoyments, even in the hour of grief. If distress befell him, he sought refuge in consolation, derived through the pleasures of life and playing and games. He was laughing at the world while the world was laughing at him because of his life full of forgetfulness. Then time trampled him like thorns. The days weakened his energy and death began to look at him from near. Then he was overtaken by a grief which he had never felt, and ailments appeared in place of the health he had previously possessed. He then turned to that with which the physician had made him familiar, namely suppressing the hot diseases with cold medicines, and curing the cold with hot doses, but the cold things did nothing save aggravate the hot ailments, while the hot ones did nothing except increasing the coldness. Nor did he acquire temperateness in his constitution, but rather every ailment of his increased till his physicians became helpless. His attendants grew loathsome and his own people felt disgusted from describing his disease, avoided answering those who inquired about him, and quarreled in front of him about the serious news which they were concealing from him. Thus, someone would say his condition is what it is and would console them with hopes of his recovery, while another one would advocate patience on missing him, recalling to them the calamities that had befallen the earlier generations. In this state, when he was getting ready to depart from the world and leave his beloved ones, such a serious choking overtook him that his senses became bewildered and the dampness of his tongue dried up. Now, there was many an important question whose reply he knew about he could not utter it, and many a voice that was painful for his heart that he heard but remained unmoved, as though he was deaf, the voice of either an elder whom he used to respect, or of a younger whom he used to caress. The pangs of death are too hideous to be covered by description or to be appreciated by the hearts of the people in this world.